All right, we are live. Hello, hello to everybody out there. Hope you guys had a great Monday. We got a lot of stories to get through. As I said last week, I'm gonna go segment by segment, story by story, just so as I go through my content, I could cut up some of the videos and then make smaller, more digestible videos. Just in case there's people out there that don't want to sit through an hour-long live stream. So as I go through the content, I am going to be getting all the way through the content. Then I'm going to read some comments, and we could do it like that. I hope you guys had a great Monday. Hope you guys had a great Sunday. If you celebrate Resurrection Sunday, God bless you. I hope you enjoyed your day. If you didn't, I hope you enjoyed a nice, peaceful weekend. And you didn't think too much about politics, even though it is very easy in this day and age. As you guys are coming in, make sure you guys drop a comment. Let me know who's in here. Like I said, I'm going to go through each segment, and then at the end of the segment, I will stop and review some comments. But my goodness, there's so much to talk about. There is so much to talk about, guys. I mean, you have the MLB wanting to move the All-Star game out of Atlanta. All right, we're going to talk on that. Then we have Ron DeSantis basically getting a hit job done on him by 60 Minutes. We got to talk about that. You know, we gotta update ourselves with the Derek Chauvin trial. We got to give commentary on just the ridiculousness of Ilhan Omar. Oh my goodness, I would love to see your comments during that section. And then a couple other stories as we push on. But like I was saying, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Enjoyed time with your family and friends. Something that covering politics has shown me is you really have to stop and be grateful for what you have, because a lot of the times there are many politicians who spend so much time bickering and talking about what other people don't have or what other people might not have, that they completely miss the whole idea of being grateful, gratitude. And unfortunately, a large part of the Democratic Party poops on being grateful, because they think everything should be given to everybody and everybody's oppressed by everything. So why should we be grateful in an America that's deeply racist? But anyways, like I said, guys, as you guys are coming in, make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you guys join the journey to 1,000 subs. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All of my links to become a giver, a person who donates to the channel, will be in the link in the description below. And yeah, like I said, guys, we got a lot to get to, so let's not drag our feet any further. Let's go ahead and get into all of these topics, because man, I think it's going to be just a fun time just to talk and give commentary over this stuff. The first one, guys, that I really want to talk about, and this, I didn't have this in the agenda when I made the live stream, but as the day went on and I got wind of this story, I was like, man, we have to talk about this tonight. And I recently did a short video about 10 minutes ago covering this topic, but I want you guys to bring your attention to the 60 Minutes piece that they did on Ron DeSantis, and it has been called a hit job. And I want you guys to watch the entirety of the 60 Minutes interview for yourself. And I want you to determine for yourself if it is a hit job. Now, I'll tell you my opinion straight up, and I believe that my opinion, it has the most facts on its side. I believe this was a hit job. But man, when I tell you, when I looked at this story in its entirety, oh my goodness, it was a superb hit job. If it was a hit job in a physical sense, this was first degree murder. It was premeditated with the intent to kill, with the intent to banish and completely just slander. That's what this hit job was really predicated on. So 60 Minutes ran a story last night on Sunday talking about how Ron DeSantis is showing favoritism to older white communities. He's basically aiding in discrimination because he wants to make sure that the vaccines go to the elderly first in Florida and then everybody else after. So it just so happens that there's a big community of our elders in Florida who got money. Who would have thunk it? They live longer. They've made good decisions. Their wealth has accumulated. So they're sitting on, good net worths. They're living in good parts of Florida, Palm Beach County being one of them. And Ron DeSantis is saying, look, I don't care about their socioeconomic standing. I care about their age and their vulnerability to COVID-19. Now, that right there is a point of tension because, as you guys know, the whole woke agenda and the whole equity thing is that we have to take care of the communities that are Black and brown first because they have had a history of oppression that can only be mitigated and made right by rolling out the vaccine to those communities first. Now, a lot of states, think about Washington, California, on, bought into that propaganda, and they want to prioritize people based on skin color. But Ron DeSantis, from the beginning, said, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to give out this vaccine based on skin color or the history of a culture or a group of people. It's 2020. What we're going to do is we're going to follow the science, and the science says that the most vulnerable and the most at risk of COVID-19 is the elders, 65 and older. So what does he do? His plan is dictated to getting those individuals in Florida the vaccine first, and he is crucified for it. He's called a racist, blah, blah, blah. But because he's a strong man who knows his vision and he knows where he wants to bring Florida, he doesn't care about none of that. He gets to work, gets the job done, says the story straight, and moves forward. And he's really a great example of what we should be as conservatives in this day and age. They call us racist. Shut up. We're moving on. All right. They have the story wrong. No, systemic racism is actually a conspiracy theory. All right. So we just keep the story straight. We keep it moving. And that's what I really loved about this. I really loved about Ron DeSantis standing up and really talking and putting this the 60 Minutes lady, the interviewer, or not interviewer, really the propagandist woman. Her name is Sharon Alfonsi. She was trying to press him and to say, oh, it's pay for play. The only reason why you gave Publix the authority to give out the vaccines is because they gave you $100,000. She thought she had him. 60 Minutes thought they could fool us. But my goodness, this piece from the Daily Caller really exposes them. So let's just dive into this article. 60 Minutes flamed over hit job against government DeSantis Publix on vaccine distribution. All right, so shout out Florida, shout out Publix. My first job was Publix supermarkets. I was a bagger. I remember bagging groceries, mopping the floor, pushing the machine, all of that labor stuff. So Publix is near and dear to my heart because it taught me work ethic. Nonetheless, let's jump into this article. CBS News 60 Minutes is under fire over a recent report alleging that Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis chose Publix to partner with the state for the vaccine rollout due to donations the company made to his political committee. The report, which aired Sunday, focused on the fact that residents living in one of the poorest parts of Palm Beach County were forced to travel for the vaccine as the Florida-based supermarket chains isn't located in the area, while wealthier communities allegedly had easier access to it. All right, so just to a quick injection of what I think. So what we have here is the claim that Ron DeSantis chose Publix because Publix gave him $100,000. Now, he debunks that very quickly, and he says, no, it's not the fact that they gave me $100,000 is the reason why I wanted to give them rights to distribute the vaccine. It's actually because when he came ready to distribute all the vaccines, Publix was one of the only retailers who were ready to distribute the vaccine. So they said, hi, we're ready. We'll do it. He said, okay, you guys are ready. You're able. Let's go. All right. But that's not what That is not what 60 Minutes wanted to share. That is not what they wanted to show. They omitted that part. And this part right here, I want to bring your attention to. They say the vaccine. So the report, which aired Sunday, focused on the fact that residents living in one of the poorest parts of Palm Beach County were forced to travel for the vaccine as Florida-based supermarket chain isn't located in the area. So the crazy thing about that is they're making it sound like Publix is the only retailer in this area that's giving out the vaccine. We got CVS, we got Walgreens, we got Walmart. We have other people who are willing to give out the vaccine, but they don't want to focus on that part because it destroys their narrative. It's not like Ron DeSantis said, oh, let me pick Publix and let me just run with Publix because Publix gives me money and they're going to help out my white cronies. No, Publix was ready. And it just so happens that there's not a Publix near this poor community, which I think is called Belglade. We'll figure that out for sure as we watch the videos. But anyways, they're already starting off with lies. Ron DeSantis chose because of the money. No, that's not what happened. All right. And then they want to focus on, oh, the poor people can't make it to the Publix. Well, Publix is not the only retailer offering vaccinations. All right, moving on with the article. Critics quickly pointed out that the segment left out important context regarding details about why Publix, the supermarket with the most stores in Florida, was given distribution rights for Palm Beach County. The first issue with the report surrounded the correspondent Sharon Alfonsi's chat with DeSantis. Alfonsi met up with the Republican governor at a press conference held in Florida and pushed him on the pay-to-play accusation surrounding the vaccine distribution. 60 Minutes airing of that exchange, however, cut out important details regarding DeSantis's explanation on why Publix was chosen to distribute COVID-19 vaccines, and very simply put, they were ready to run the operation. They were ready, and other people were not. Therefore, they were the first ones up who said, we have the staff, we have the infrastructure, we have the bodies, let's do it. The aired clip shows Alfonsi bringing up the $100,000 Publix donation to DeSantis and asserting that he rewarded them with the exclusive rights to distribute the vaccination in Palm Beach. DeSantis pushed back quickly, and Alfonsi then asked how the situation wasn't pay to play. The CBS News cut out a huge portion. And when I say huge, I mean humongous, colossal. I mean, you can't. It's bigger than Mount Everest, the amount that they cut out because they are propagandists. They want to just push their narrative, and that is it. They cut out a huge portion of DeSantis's explanation regarding the decision to give vaccine distribution to Publix. Instead of including his full explanation, the show suggested he went right from saying that the story was a fake narrative to his claims on who he spoke with in figuring out Florida's best options. Now, of course, they wanted to show this fake narrative because they're trying to get people to see him in the same light as Donald Trump, who had he had the balls, he had the confidence to call them what they were. They were fake narrative machines. And Ron DeSantis is cut from that same cloth. So what they did was they showed him saying, oh, fake news, basically. And then they showed that he really wasn't trying to talk about it, but in reality he was. So what CBS 60 Minutes segment was doing was just trying to paint him as Trump 2.0. And they got caught. Oh my goodness. All right, they got caught doing this. They were caught red-handed. And I want to show you guys a clip from the 60 Minutes segment because it is extraordinary. One, look at the time. 1 minute and 3 seconds. That's how much time they focus on Ron DeSantis's his answer. But if you look at the fullness of his answer, it is around 3 minutes long. So they take a short excerpt of his whole answer and they dice it up, slice it up, and they get what they want because, hey, at the end of the day, it is about cheap clicks And it is about keeping your narrative alive, baby. If you could keep your narrative alive, then people will keep watching. If you could keep making people think that white people are evil and the system is racist and all these things, and you can't leave your house without a police officer chasing you. If you keep that narrative alive, then you're going to keep having viewers, and you're going to keep having politicians that fund and help give power to these liberal establishment media outlets, because they're going to spew the same type of rhetoric. So the people that ingest all this crap, they're going to be looking at the news, and the news is going to say racism, racism, racism. And then the next Democratic nominee is going to walk up there and say, yeah, guys, equity, 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 racism, equity, equity, racism. And all the people are going to say, yes, that's the one, we want to follow him. And that's what they're doing, guys. They're just appeasing their freaking base who doesn't care about truth. They care about peddling their narrative. So let's take a listen to the 60 Minutes version of how this went down.
We wanted to ask Governor DeSantis about the deal, but he declined our request for an interview. We caught up with him south of Orlando.
Publix, as you know, donated $100,000 to your campaign, and then you rewarded them with the exclusive rights to distribute the vaccination in Palm Beach.
So first of all, what you're saying is wrong.
How is that not pay to play?
That's a fake narrative. I met with the county mayor. I met with the administrator. I met with all the folks at Palm Beach County, and I said, here's some of the options. We can do more drive-through sites. We can give more to hospitals. We can do the Publix. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents.
But Melissa McKinley, the county commissioner in the Glades, told us the governor never met with her about the Publix deal.
The criticism is that it's pay to play,
and it's
Governor.
wrong. It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts, because obviously I laid it out for you in a way that is irrefutable.
Well,
and so it's clearly not.
Isn't there the nearest Publix?
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. You guys ready for this? You have to listen and pay attention, because here is what really happened. All right. I'm not even going to talk. Just go ahead and listen to the whole thing.
Sure. So first of all, what you're saying is wrong. That's a fake narrative. So first of all, when we did the first pharmacies that had it were CVS and Walgreens, and they had a long-term care mission. So they were going to the long-term care facilities. They got vaccine in the middle of December. They started going to the long-term care facilities the third week of December to do LTCs. So that was their mission. That was very important, and we trusted them to do that. As we got into January, we wanted to expand the distribution points. So yes, you had the counties, you had some drive-through sites, you had hospitals that were doing a lot, but we wanted to get it into communities more. So we reached out to other retail pharmacies, Publix, Walmart. Obviously, CVS and Walgreens had to finish that mission. And we said, we're gonna use you as soon as you're done with that. For the Publix, they were the first one to raise their hand, say they were ready to go. And you know what? We did it on a trial basis. I had 3 counties. I actually showed up that weekend and talked to seniors across 4 different Publix. How was the experience? Is this good? Should you think this is a way to go? And it was 100% positive. So we expanded it, and then folks liked it. And I can tell you, if you look at a place like Palm Beach County, they were kind of struggling at first in terms of the senior numbers. I met with the county mayor, I met with the administrator, I met with all the folks at Palm Beach County, and I said, here's some of the options. We can do more drive-through sites. We can give more to hospitals. We can do the Publix. We can do this. They calculated that 90% of their seniors live within 1.5 miles of a Publix. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents. So we did that. And what ended up happening was you had 65 Publix in Palm Beach. Palm Beach is one of the biggest counties, one of the most elderly counties. We've done almost 75% of the seniors in Palm Beach. And the reason is because you had the strong retail footprint. So our way has been multifaceted. It has worked. And we're also now very much completed the long-term care mission. Yes. And it's wrong. It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts, because obviously I laid it out for you in a way that is irrefutable. And so it's clearly not. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yes, sir.
So we can stop right there. But look, let's just sync it up. Let's just sync it up for the sake of just getting the story straight. The first thing I have him saying is, so first of all, ... All right. Because I think that is where the 60 minutes clip starts it at. So let me just go ahead and fact check myself.
We wanted to ask Governor DeSantis about the deal, but he declined our request for an interview. We caught up with him south of Orlando.
Publix, as you know, donated $100,000 to your campaign, and then you rewarded them with the exclusive rights to distribute the vaccination in Palm
First
Beach.
of all, what you're saying is wrong.
How is that not?
All right. So first of all, what you're saying is not right. It's a false narrative. Okay. How is that not pay to play?
That's a fake narrative. I met with the county mayor. I met with the administrator. I met with all the folks at Palm Beach County, and I said, here's some of the options. We can do more drive-through sites. We can give more to hospitals. We can do the Publix. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents.
But Melissa McKinley.
So 38 seconds. They gave him 28 seconds roughly of time to explain before they cut him off. And then they had the audacity and they had the propagandist mindset to completely cut off all of the context and all of the real information. That's the part that I don't understand. You're supposed to be a journalism institution where you find information and you give it out to the masses. All right. So first of all, that's a fake narrative.
Sure. So first of all, what you're saying is wrong. That's a fake narrative.
So what we see at around 14 seconds, all right, it's synced up with the beginning of this clip. This clip only allows Ron DeSantis 38 seconds, all right, of the actual clip running in before they come in and then, say, oh, we talked to this county's commissioner in Glades and they said this, they said that. But like we just watched, which we're not going to watch again, he spoke clearly. Before I stopped it again, I stopped it at 2:31, which means 60 minutes cut out 2 minutes and around 15 seconds of this man's response. And they chopped it up, flipped it up, put it in a nice burger. And they said, here, all my people who like to eat propaganda sandwiches, watch this. And everybody who watches CBS in 60 Minutes, they were like, wow, DeSantis is terrible. Oh my goodness. Now, the thing that you have to understand, because I watched the whole 13-minute clip, which I would encourage you guys to watch as well, is it starts off with the whole it just smells like Marxism, because they start off with showing all the mansions. They show all of the hedges, that the privacy hedges that give privacy to these mansions. They show the yachts. They talk about the billionaires. They talk about the private jets and this and that. And what they're really doing is they're laying the foundation. Look, these rich people, they get it before you. And you know what? Those rich people are white and they get it before you. So they're just playing into the narrative of the power. I don't even know what to call it. The power structure dynamic narrative, where they're continuing to try to make people against each other. They're trying to make white versus black, black versus white. They're trying to get poor versus rich, rich versus poor. That's what they're trying to do, because, drama and friction is good for news, I guess. We're in reality TV and not actually the news. So looking at some of the comments. Hey, yo, dog, what up, fam? They trying to smear my boy DeSantis because they know he's a front runner for the president. Yes. What up, Uber? But it's probably true. China will be the next super blower. Honestly, if USA can't get their act together, I'm just saying yes. I mean, we are at the edge. People like DeSantis and even us, like, don't overlook us. Those of us who know the game and see how the culture war is playing out, where literally the culture war is revolving around this: critical race theory, Marxism. All right. If we just continue to speak the truth and talk about on our platforms and our personal lives. This is actually what it is. Show people that conservatives are not just some crazy cultish group of people. Like, no, we are actually the backbone of this country, because the values we believe in are the only reason why America is where it's at today. Like, if we keep winning in our spaces and we vote in people like DeSantis, bro, we are going to get our act together, because at the end of the day, there are around 70 plus million of us who voted the way we voted. And I would say there's probably a few million out there who regret what they got, because Joe Biden is an absolute failure as a leader. But I'm just saying, it is what it is. So jumping back into the article, other critics continue to point out that Publix also made donations to Democrats in 2020, though the company did donate more to Republicans. In addition to the 425,000 donations highlighted by 60 Minutes, Publix also donated to DeSantis 2 other times, once in November 2019 and second time in January 2020, according to Florida's campaign finance data. These 2 prior donations were not highlighted in the report, although it indicates that the donations began prior to serious discussions from states about vaccine distribution. In fact, these 2 donations occurred before the COVID-19 pandemic. 60 Minutes, framing the story, even received pushback from Democrats, with Jared Muskowitz, director of Florida Division of Emergency Management, calling the theory utter nonsense. So we're gonna read a couple quotes from 2 truthful Democrats, all right, because this story is so jacked up that even Democrats are standing up and saying this doesn't even make sense and this is actually a lie. We reached all of the pharmacies and they were the only one who at the time could execute on the mission. That is what Ron DeSantis is saying. We wanted to roll this out to the pharmacies, but Publix was the only ones ready. So here, the reality is Publix was ready to carry out the mission of distributing vaccines. Nobody else is ready. Therefore, Ron DeSantis gives them rights to distribute the vaccine. All right. That's the reality. That's the truth. The propaganda is CBS 60 Minutes comes on and says, oh, you gave them the rights to distribute the vaccine because they gave you $100,000. Oh, I see what this is. It's a pay-to-play scheme. All right. But it's funny. They got found out in less than 24 hours. So skipping all this, let's look at a couple of tweets and then we'll move on to the next story. Jared Muskowitz, I think I'm saying that name right. I said this before and I'll say it again. At Publix was recommended by FLSERT and Healthy Florida, as other pharmacies were not ready to start, period, full stop. No one from the governor's office suggested Publix. It's just absolute malarkey. And then we have I want to read this letter because this is Palm Beach County issues a statement from Mayor Dave Kerner, a Democrat, in response to yesterday's 60 Minutes report. So this mayor was so disturbed and so like, man, are we really going to run with lies on our mainstream media, that a Democratic mayor of Palm Beach County had to jump out here and just set the record straight. I watched the 60-minute segments on Palm Beach County last night, and I feel compelled to issue this statement. The reporting was not just based on bad information, it was intentionally false. I know this because I offered to provide my insight into Palm Beach County's vaccination effort, and 60 Minutes declined. They know that the governor came to Palm Beach County and met with me and the county administrator, and we asked to expand the state's partnership with Publix to Palm Beach County. We also discussed our own local plans to expand mass vaccination centers throughout the county, which the governor has been incredibly supportive. We asked and he delivered. They had that information and they left it out because it kneecaps their narrative. We have been confronted with this pandemic for over a year. Our residents, like all Americans, are tired, and the media is making it worse. They are hell-bent on dividing us for cheap views and clicks. 60 Minutes should be ashamed. My goodness. So if you guys just think about it, at the end of the day, what we have here is just another example as to why we cannot trust the mainstream media. And like I've said before, the only reason I watch mainstream media is to know what the narratives are of the day, and I know what not to believe. Because most of the time, like, it's very good to be informed on what you shouldn't believe. Like, we know we shouldn't steal because we were informed that stealing is bad. Same thing with CNN, CBS, and all these other liberal establishment media outlets. We know the bad narrative because they're saying it. Basically, at this point, whatever comes out of their mouth, it's a complete and utter lie. And we just have to have our guard up. So, you know what? At the end of the day, 60 Minutes, you are found out to be fraudulent, and you need to come out with a statement. You need to retract some of your story. You need to insert where you were wrong, and maybe we'll forgive you. But at the end of the day, that probably won't happen. But we know the people who are actually trying to ingest media to stay informed, because we think that being informed is actually a good thing and not believing a lie. We don't think believing a lie, no matter how good it sounds, is better than being an informed citizen of the truth. You know, people like us will probably never watch CBS 60 Minutes and take it serious. But nonetheless, guys, drop your comments down below. Let me see what you guys are thinking about this. Well, do you think it was a hit job? Do you think it was a hit job? I 100% think it was a hit job. I think that they got all the information and they said, you know what, let's screw it. Let's just screw it, DeSantis. Let's screw with the narrative. Let's start to plant the seeds like we've been doing. Let's actually not plant the seeds. Let's water the seeds so that people will continue to think that he is Trump 2.0. He's scary white man, racist white man. All right. And then so because that's their motivation, what do? They lie on the man. All right. They lie on the man. All right. So Uber says Publix be the gas when you want that sandwich. Yes. All right. What's your favorite sandwich? My favorite sandwich from Publix is the crispy chicken tender sandwich. I mean, that is my joint right there. So, and I worked for Publix. All right. Publix's integrity, Publix's ethic is immaculate. I mean, what they teach you in all the courses, from being a bagger all the way up to being a cashier, is ethics matter and doing what's right matters. So one, I just don't believe that they would give $100,000 just to try to own and make a profit. I mean, yes, they're trying to make a profit, but at the end of the day, I don't think Publix did anything wrong. And obviously Ron DeSantis didn't do anything wrong, which we figured that out, but it's utter nonsense. And then that boar's head is something special. All right. Then you gotta get that potato salad with the Publix iced tea. Yes. That peach iced tea from Publix. Oh my goodness. Yes, Gamer Gal, love their buffalo chicken sub. It is amazing. The buffalo chicken sub is amazing. All right, get that buffalo sauce. They put it in the bag. They shake it up. All right, they ask you, do you want your sandwich heated up? Then they go heat it up so your cheese is nice and melted, and then they put all your vegetables on after. I mean, Publix is amazing. And like I said, that was my first job. I worked at Publix at age 17. I started as a bagger. I was getting paid like $8 an hour. I was working with my brother, working with a few friends, a junior, senior in high school, just learning how to work. I had a great time at Publix, but Publix also showed me, hey, if you don't develop any real skills, you're going to be stocking shelves for the rest of your life. So you need to go finish college. So unless you want to be a manager here and move up, or you want to be stuck at a lower level job, then my motivation was, these are your options, Publix or finish school. So I chose to finish school. But yes, Gamer Gal, Publix is a treat to anyone who has it in their area. Sonia Scrapbook, hello. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed your Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. And I hope your Monday treated you well as well. So moving on to the next section, guys. And I want to make sure you guys, continue to share the content. We're almost there. I'm excited to say we are almost at 1,000 subs. So if you know anybody that is into conservative commentary, or if you know somebody who's not, but they're open to listening to new ideas, share my content. Join the journey to 1K subs, like, comment, share. Thank you guys so much for the ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Gamer Gal says, when I was pregnant, Publix employees would offer me water and a free cookie every time I came in. Love Publix. Yes, because honestly, to work at Publix, you have to be a good person. You're not going to last if you're not a good person. You have to be a good person. Like, you have to be nice. You have to go out of your way. You have to realize that we're here to serve the customer. I mean, you wear the green. You wear the green collared shirt, you put on your apron, and you're going to work for your community. So Publix is a great place because the culture that they built is service. We are here to serve. We are not here to be served. We are here to serve, and we're here to cater to the needs of our customers. Sadly, because of freaking COVID, they stopped giving out all of the cookies at the bakery for free. So my kids, when they were, my oldest is 4, when he was like 2.5, 3, we would bring him to the bakery and he would get cookies. And ever since COVID-19 popped off, they're still not giving out free cookies. So that is a shame. Last comment I'll read, then I'll jump into the next story. Uber says Capitol Hill attack not trending anymore with the MSM. Wonder why? Yeah, we know why. And it's, yeah, and I did a story about this, but it doesn't fit their narrative. It's a black guy, Noah Green. He wanted to change his name to Noah Muhammad. Okay. Islam. They want to say mental illness. This is that. No, the guy premeditated in his heart to go kill some white cops that day. That is what he had in his heart. Now, my takeaway from that is there's 2 answers. He was either a black supremacist, as evidenced by his following and belief in Louis Farrakhan, and he believed in the systemic racism lie and all that other stuff, and all of that filled his head, so he built up hate and animosity towards white people and police that he decided that he was going to go and try to take the lives of some police members, which he did, and he ultimately died. And then my other takeaway is maybe he's just a radical Islamic follower who thought he was going to have virgins in heaven after he took some people out and then he was killed. Because you have to believe that was a suicide mission. Noah Green, that was a suicide mission. Noah Muhammad, that was a suicide mission. You ram your car into the Capitol building barricades with no gun, only a knife. You take out a couple people and all you have is a knife. Nah, bro, you're trying to commit suicide. So I think he may have been inspired by Islam and, the whole notion of you die, you go to heaven, and maybe you get 30 virgins. Maybe that was his inspiration. I don't know. But where I'm at right now is he was either a black supremacist Louis Farrakhan follower, which we know he was a Louis Farrakhan follower, or he was a radical Islamist who believed that if he killed some evil cops and he was killed in the process, he would go to his heaven. All right, which we know he is sadly mistaken at this point, but that is why they're not covering that story anymore. And we all know this, like Uber said, they're not covering the Capitol Hill story anymore because it doesn't fit their narrative. He's not white. So therefore, they can't push white supremacy. They don't want to touch black supremacy. You don't hear anybody talking about black supremacy, but I'll be one of the first to tell you black supremacy is just as dangerous as white supremacy. And they don't want to show that. They don't want to show a black person wilding out because it's not good for their narrative. All right. So as people are coming in, make sure you guys drop a comment. Let me know who's in here. With all of that said, guys, I want to jump into this next story because this right here, okay, this gets me excited. This makes me happy. This makes me want to put my foot down and be prepared that if the police ever try to do this crap, if the politicians ever tried to do this crap, which they already tried to, and some churches folded. Now, whether you're in the religious community or not, that doesn't matter. The response of this pastor shows you how you need to put your foot down when people are encroaching on your rights. So whether you go to church or not, whether you believe in God or not, you can learn a lesson from this pastor right here, because the police tried getting into his service. All right. The police tried getting into his service. All these people, now this is in Canada, and they're trying to shut down his service because of COVID restrictions, all of these policies. And he was like, no, not on Easter. You're not doing this on Easter. So this coming from the Toronto Sun. All right, he was calling them Nazis. Pastor kicks police out of church at Easter. So I'm not going to read the article because honestly, the article is great and you guys should read it. But my goodness, the actual video of this man is amazing. Let me see if I could get to it. I mean, the way he rebuked these police officers was, I mean, it was music to our ears. All right, let me see if I could find this clip. All right. I don't know why I can't find it. Let's see.
In the future.
That is not it. That is not it. All right, while I'm looking for it, make sure you guys hit that like button. All right, drop a comment below. I'm gonna stop this share and I'm gonna do another search for it because I had it pulled up and I had it ready, but I don't know why it's not showing up. But like I said, as I'm doing this search, make sure you guys hit that like button, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts of what we've been talking about. All right, here it is. Let me go ahead and share this with you guys. Daniel David, hello. I am Canadian, not proud of my country. No, you shouldn't be, because they are a bunch of fascist dictators. My goodness. I mean, what they're doing is sick. What they're trying to do is sick. You travel to another country, you got to come back, and then you got to go pay for your own. I believe this is true. You could correct me if I'm wrong. If you leave Canada and then you come back to Canada, you have to isolate yourself and pay for your own isolation. What? I mean, let me know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. But anyways, you know that some of these countries, they have COVID fear, and on top of that COVID fear, they want to push. They want to strip power. That's ultimately what it is. All right, but guys, listen to this pastor. Listen to him, because he gives us the recipe on how to treat people who are encroaching on our freedoms.
Please get out. Get out of this property immediately. Get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out.
Until you come back with the warrant, get the heck out of my church. I don't care about COVID protocol. We're trying to worship God today. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Out. Out of this property. Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk to you. Not the.
He doesn't even say, he says, don't come back. He doesn't hit them with repent and then come back. He says, don't come back, you workers of evil, you workers of lawlessness. Get the heck out of here. This pastor is going in, and I love it.
Out of this property, immediately out. I don't care what you have to say. Out of this property, you Nazis. Out. Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed. Out. Do you understand English? Get out of this property. Go. So go. Go. And don't come back without a warrant. Out, Nazi. Out. Out. You understand? Nazis are not welcome here. Out. And don't come back without a warrant.
This is hilarious.
Do not come back without a warrant. You understand that? You're not welcome here. Nazis are not welcome here. Gestapo is not welcome here. Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths. Unbelievable, sick, evil people. Intimidating people in a church during the Passover. You Gestapo, Nazi, communist, fascists. Don't you dare coming back here. Can you imagine those psychopaths? Passover, the holiest Christian festival in a year, and they're coming to intimidate Christians during the holiest festival? Unbelievable.
Somebody has to do the shades, the black shades go over his eye, the cigarette in his mouth with a MAGA hat on his head. I mean, this dude is the realest pastor. I mean, you guys have got to share this video on your social media, because like I said in the beginning, whether you believe in God or not, whether you go to church or not, what he just showed you was when the government, when people in power infringe on your God-given rights, and a God-given right is to worship God, when they start infringing on that, no, you don't take it. You know, there were churches in my city who still don't meet in person because of they're scared of COVID-19 restrictions and all this stuff. They still don't meet in person. They still would rather do everything online. But here you have this pastor who's saying, I'm done with it. I'm sick of you fascists trying to shut us down. I'm sick of the government trying to get their hands in our religious institution. I'm sick of people who don't believe in God telling me that I can't worship my God. I'm sick of it. And he just, I mean, look at him. Look at him. This is the face of I've had it. I'm done. I've had it. I'm done. Don't come back here without a warrant. Don't even repent and come back here. Just don't come back. My goodness.
What is wrong with those sick psychopaths? It's beyond me. Wow. Wow. How dare they? How dare they? Sick people. Sick people. Unbelievable. We're living in a takeover, a total takeover of the government with their thugs, goons, the brown shirts, the Gestapo wannabe dictators coming to the church armed with guns and tasers and handcuffs to intimidate during Passover celebration. Well, I guess that's what it is. They want to enslave us all like the Egyptians did. They want to be pharaohs of today. That's what they're doing. Unbelievable. People, if you will not wake up, stand up, wow, I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow if Canadians will not rise up. Look what is happening in Germany. Germany is taken over by fascism again. The wannabe Hitlers are already ruling. You cannot even leave from one city to another. It's a total lockdown. If you will not be vaccinated like a dog or a cat, you will not be able to buy or sell. You will not be able to go to school or work. Is that the future you want? Is that what you want for your children and your grandchildren? Seriously, is that the future of Canada? That's the future of Canada? Wow. Unbelievable.
Wow. And of course, I mean, that's obvious mic drop moment. That's obvious truth. And this is universal truth, because what's happening, the reason why I could sit in America and say, wow, what he did was noble, what he did was patriotic, what he did was right, is because in every country, there is a government body looking to make decisions for individuals that they don't even really care about. Don't try to make a decision about me and my faith, government. Don't tell me I can't go worship God. Don't tell me I can't go and do this and that. Don't try to take my restrictions away. Don't make it a point that I can't travel without a vaccine. I can't go to school without a vaccine. I can't do all these things without a vaccine. You know, the reason why we can look at that man and be proud of what he did is because at the end of the day, he stood up for truth and he fought for what he believed in and he fought for his rights. And his rights are obviously smacking the police officers in their face. And his right is he has the freedom to worship God freely. We don't care about social distancing. Okay. We don't care about passing the virus. We don't care that singing songs gives out the droplets of COVID-19. Oh my goodness, let's not sing. We're so scared. Some churches have actually said that we shouldn't sing because it gives out droplets. Oh my goodness, how much CNN have you been watching? Like, really? You're not going to sing to God, the God that you say you believe in because CNN and the CDC told you so? Oh my goodness. I mean, that clip right there is honestly, it's inspiring. And it makes me very happy to see people standing up and saying, no, you ain't touching this. You ain't touching this, baby. You are not touching this. So with all that said, guys, I want to push on to the next story because the next story, oh my goodness. I wish this story was good news, but it just shows you how there's so much propaganda. I mean, I've never used that word as much as I've used it in my life in the past 5 months. I mean, I honestly, I want to stop using it, but it's just so fitting because what the next story is about is the MLB moving their All-Star game out of Atlanta. Now, what that signifies is the obvious culture war that certain organizations are trying to play. Clearly, CocaCola has decided to tell all its white employees to stop being white. I know you guys make really good Coke products for me, but can you stop being that? Like, yes, make good Coke products, but can you stop being white? So many organizations are jumping on this train of critical race theory, intersectionality. And of that, here's the latest story of people just believing things that aren't true. So I know you guys have heard, excuse me, you guys have heard of the bill in Georgia that talks about making voting more secure. Oh my goodness, we can't make voting more secure. That's not fair that you need to have an ID. You need to have an ID to get alcohol. You need an ID to go purchase a vehicle. You need an ID to do almost any. When a cop pulls you over, the first thing he says is license and registration. Okay. So you need all of these things, but in voting, oh my goodness, it's oppression, this and that. So you guys have seen this. MLB moves the All-Star game from Atlanta over to Georgia's new MLB moves All-Star game from Atlanta over Georgia's new voting law. Now, my goodness, we're going to read a little bit of this. We're going to read a little bit of this bill, and I'm going to show you that there's just elements of lies just weaves all through this. And I'm going to follow up this article with a more factual article. And then we can move on to the next story. But this summer's Major League Baseball draft and All-Star game won't be held in Atlanta, MLB officials announced Friday. The withdrawal of the two events from the city in July is in response to Georgia's recently enacted voting restrictions, which critics, including President Biden, have denounced as, oh my goodness, please, Joe, Jim Crow in the 21st century. Because they say the legislation will disproportionately affect communities of color. Now, this is absolutely, oh my goodness. If there was a lie of the year, it would be this one. This lie right here takes the place of Bruce Jenner thinking he's a woman. All right. That was one of the biggest lies of the 21st century. This right here is an even bigger one. Now, the law is not Jim Crow at all. Jim Crow was open discrimination against Black people. It is insanity to suggest, to even say the words Jim Crow in the same sentence of this Georgia voting bill. But nonetheless, these people that we call politicians, oh my goodness, the president of the United States, he has decided to call a bill that would make voting have more accountability. Basically, accountability is Jim Crow. Okay, got it. I have decided that the best way to demonstrate our values as a sport is by relocating this year's All-Star game and MLB draft, League Commissioner Rob Manfred said in a statement. Major League Baseball fundamentally supports voting rights for all Americans and opposes restrictions to the ballot box. Fair access to voting continues to have our game's unwavering support. Now, something I want to point out to you, which what Democrats don't understand that they do, is they're actually hurting the businesses in their city. So Atlanta, believe it or not, went through a pandemic just like the rest of us, and they could use the revenue of the MLB's All-Star game and having an increased influx of people coming to Atlanta to experience the city from outside of the city. But of course, you know, Atlanta baseball doesn't care. I mean, not baseball. The mayor doesn't care about that. The mayor doesn't care about tourism revenue. He cares about being woke. He cares about setting a political statement, which he doesn't even really care about. So that right there just shows you that there's so much pull, there's so much reach in the culture war, which is why we got to stay in the game, because there's so much talk and there's so much pressure that these corporations are willing to just bend to the narrative for the sake of money. And we have to be able to call them out and say, no, this is absolutely trash what you're doing. And this article right here shows you guys, I read this and I thought it was very, very helpful to give balance to this whole idea. And it's from the Northern Iowan. All right. Voter ID is not suppression. All right. Voter ID is not suppression. So whether you want to believe it or not, requiring a voter ID is not Jim Crow. It's not oppression. It's not suppression. It's not discrimination. It's not racism. It is none of those things. So this brought to us by Tanner Richards, opinion columnist. It is no question that the election laws are on the thoughts of everyone's minds. And in Georgia, they passed a new election law that prevents voters' fraud from becoming more common to occur. This law requires a proof of identity when you are voting. Oh my goodness, there's the Jim Crow. It requires proof of identity when you are voting. Unfortunately, some of the leaders on the left want to push a ridiculous lie that election integrity is, yes, you guessed it, racist. These myths they spread include the notion that you won't be allowed to be handed water while waiting in line to vote. The fact is that what is written in the law contradicts that ridiculous claim. In the law, it reads, no person shall solicit votes in any manner or by any means or method, nor shall any person distribute or display any campaign material, nor shall any person give, offer to give, or participate in giving of money or gifts, including but not limited to food and drink, and to an elector. Oh my goodness. So this is the absolute fraudulent lie that Joe Biden was pushing, that, oh, you can't even give them water. You people can't even get water. Oh, they're suppressing the vote because you're not even allowed to get water in line. Oh my goodness. It goes on to say, this code section shall not be construed to prohibit a poll officer from distributing or from 1829 making available self-service water from an unattended receptacle to an elector waiting in line to vote. So the numbers are just the lines that are actually in the bill, which I want to bring your attention to now. But obviously you see that this bill it's not telling people that they can't get water, that people can't bring them water. It's saying you can't solicit people with water. That's like me saying, hey, here's some water, vote for Joe Biden, have a good day. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. That should be against the law. All right. But I want to show you guys, the actual bill for yourself so you can see it for yourself, because the way that it's worded, I mean, it's not about voter suppression. It's about election integrity. That is what it is about. So that everything that we just read was in section 33. All right, said chapter is further amended by revising subsections A and E of code sections relating to restrictions on campaign activities and public opinion polling within the vicinity of a polling place. Cellular phone use prohibition of candidates from entering certain polling places, and penalty as follows. A, no person shall solicit votes in any manner or by any means or method, nor shall any person distribute or display any campaign material, nor shall any person give, offer to give, or participate in the giving of any money, gifts, including but not limited to food and drink to an elector. Oh my goodness. So you can't give people water to try to sway them. All right. And then in 1829, all right, we'll start at 1824. This code section shall not be construed to prohibit a poll officer from distributing materials as required by law. So the poll officer can distribute materials which are necessary for the purpose of instructing electors, or from distributing materials prepared by the Secretary of State, which are designed solely for the purpose of encouraging voters' participation in the election being conducted, or from making available self-service water from an unattended receptacle to an elector waiting in line to vote. So as you guys can see for yourself, the law in and of itself is just simply saying you can't solicit people to get water. You can't solicit people with water to try to win their vote over. Only poll workers should be handing out the materials needed. And that is 150 feet away from the precinct, meaning once you go 150 feet past the precinct, I could give you water. Your kids can run and go get water. You can get water from a Trump supporter. A Trump supporter can go get water from a Biden supporter. 150 plus feet away. Hey, bro, get your water wherever you want. You want to go to that pond and drink water? Go ahead. Do what you got to do. All right. But as you guys can see, it's absolute nonsense that the MLB is going to bend to the Democratic agenda over lies. And the mainstream media is going to push lie after lie after lie. This bill is not discrimination. This bill is about something that Democrats hate. Democrats hate voter integrity. They hate election integrity. And they do not want a simple voter ID because, one, they have soft bigotry against Black people. They think Black and Hispanic people aren't smart enough to go get IDs. And then two, they know that if election processes were more uniformed, to actually have people have an ID, a signature, and not have random absentee ballots just flooding into everywhere, that it would be a more secured election. Democrats do not want that, which is why they're ultimately against that. And it's up to us. Unfortunately, it's up to us to call them out over and over and over again. No, this is not about discrimination. This is not voter suppression. A voter ID, requiring a voter ID, does not mean I am performing acts of racism. No, it's not suppression. You could take your lie somewhere else. So looking at the comments, anti-twerp files. What is in the water? Does fluoride make one suggestible? That's a good question. I hope there's not fluoride in there. Go ahead and drink distilled water if you're not doing so. I got some distilled water in my cup. So, all of that to say, everybody that's coming in, make sure you like, comment. All right, make sure you like the video, hit the like button, get these likes up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe and go ahead and check out some of my other content. New conservative commentary is going to be up every week. I really appreciate everybody's support up to this point. I want to bring your attention to to the first goal of this channel is to speak truth. And then the second goal of this channel right now is to get to 1,000 subs. So I can only do that if this community helps me out. So thank you guys for the ongoing support. I really appreciate everybody's efforts in, just jumping on and supporting a young, small conservative channel. I mean, at the end of the day, the only reason why I started this channel is because I was surrounded by people who were obsessed with race. They were obsessed with critical race theory. They were obsessed with Democratic propaganda. They were obsessed in their hate with Donald Trump. And I listened to it for months. And then after I figured out, man, I am in a circle that is anti-conservative. This was before I even knew what liberal and conservative was. I figured out, oh my goodness, the reason why I have this internal conflict is because I have way more conservative values than them, and they're coming at this from a very liberal leftist point of view, and I can't get down with that. So that's why the channel was started. I want to speak truth first and foremost, and then also my first goal is to get to that 1,000 subs. So make sure you guys are dropping comments. If you have any questions about any of the segments that we talked about, make sure you drop it below. But anti-twerp files, I do not know what's in the water. According to the Democrats, the water is laced with racism. So who knows at this point? All we can do is just keep talking about the truth, and the people that hear it and heed it, well, their lives will be blessed because of it. So I want to bring you guys. All right, we're wrapping up the live stream with a couple more topics, but I want to show you guys just bring your attention back to the ridiculousness of Ilhan Omar. Okay, I did a video on this yesterday, but this woman, I do not like her. I do not like her. She made a crazy, an insane tweet. All right, an insane tweet recently talking about what happened in the DC with Noah Green. All right, let me see if I can find it. All right, but what she was saying was, oh yeah, the killings would have been worse if the killer had an AR-15. Like what? Like what are you talking about? Let me get out of her tweet because it's flooded with new tweets at this point. All right. Yeah, the Hill had it. The Hill had that story. But I want you guys to see this. I covered this story yesterday. I'm just going to jump straight to her comments because at the end of the day, these are the people that are leading our country. So after Noah Green, who was on the way to becoming Noah Muhammad before he decided to do a suicide mission, all right, before he did what he did in DC, he was a radical Islamic follower. That's what I believe. I mean, what other reason are you going to change your name to Muhammad and then like on cue, then do a suicide mission? I'm just saying. So Republican Ilhan Omar, heartbroken to learn another Capitol Police was killed while protecting the Capitol. My thoughts and prayers go out to the officer's family and the entire Capitol Police force. And that's where the tweet should have stopped. The death toll would have been worse if the assailant had an AR-15. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Like this is what you want to do when people die? You want to politicize their death as soon as you can? You want to push a anti-Second Amendment rhetoric as soon as you can? This is what you want to do? This is how you want to live your life? Ilhan Omar, this is what you want to do. You want to continue to spew nonsense after nonsense after nonsense. An AR-15 would have made it worse. I mean, it's absolutely sickening to me. It's sickening to me that she would get on her Twitter, that she would get on her high horse, that she would get on her Democratic platform, and she would bring up an AR-15 when the fact is the assailant, one, didn't have a gun. He had a knife. And two, he's not white. So let's focus on something that we can focus on. Let's focus on guns. All right, because that's what they do. If it's not white, then they focus on guns. All right. Now, recently, this part right here, which will lead us into our last segment of the night. All right. Just a George Floyd update. When I read this about, what she was saying, oh, Minneapolis community is on edge around Chauvin's trial. Now, all is good. Yeah, you should be on edge because you have an autonomous zone in your city. A bunch of people who don't live in Minnesota have taken over Minnesota. So yes, your city's on edge, but not because of the trial, because there are domestic terrorists at your doorstep. I mean, they're at your doorstep. That is why you're on edge. All right, but look at this. Look at this quote. This is such an unneeded statement. It's been really horrendous to watch the defense put George Floyd on trial instead of the former police officer who's charged with murder. Ilhan Omar, that's their job. They're defending Derek Chauvin. In this country, there is a prosecution and a defense and a jury and a judge and due process. And Derek Chauvin is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. All of these things that are American values, American virtues that are staples in our criminal justice system, all the things that you said you stand for when you took your office, all of those things are true, which is why George Floyd his life has to be taken into account. We have to know that he was an opioid addict. We have to know that he lived a life that was, counterintuitive of life. We have to know these things. We have to know that he passed a fake $20 bill. We have to know that he was high as a kite before the cops came. We have to know all of these things. It's not about putting George Floyd on trial. It's about having an actual trial, which Ilhan Omar, you would think she would know that at this point, that this is actually about having a real trial, not a public opinion trial. But at the end of the day, she is one of the least informed. Her and AOC are two of the least informed people in politics, probably in the history of politics. And it just so happens that they're all on the woke train. All right, so looking at some of these comments. All right, Uber says she probably having the bad day because she found out her husband cheated on her. Hey, I mean, who knows? These people live fast. That could easily happen. Make sure you guys drop some comments below. Make sure you hit that like button as we jump into our last segment. All right, our last segment of the night. So our last segment of the night is going to be just an update. It's going to be an update on the Derek Chauvin trial. And I'm going to focus on one testimony in particular. And I've made many videos on why I believe that Derek Chauvin is going to be proven innocent of second and third degree murder. Tonight, I wanted on our last segment to just focus on the manslaughter charge, because the manslaughter charge after last week is starting to look like it might stick. All right. Now, for the sake of just being diligent and the sake of just being, well informed, before I just start spouting off on what I think. All right. It's very important. Let's just talk about what these are. So manslaughter in the second degree. A person who causes the death of another by any of the following means is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for no more than 10 years. So that means if Derek Chauvin is found guilty of second degree manslaughter, he's going to be locked up for no more than 10. He's probably going to get credited for 1. So that means max 9 years. Moving on, city of Minneapolis coming down. All right. So for these reasons, by the person's culpable negligence, whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm. Now, here is the point of contention. Was Derek Chauvin consciously taking a chance to cause death or harm to George Floyd? That is something that has to be proven. And the testimony that I'm going to show you guys, I mean, it really suggests that he could be found guilty of this charge. Number 2 doesn't matter by shooting. All right. Number 3 doesn't matter by setting up a spring gun. All right, number 4, negligently or intentionally permitting any animal known. All right, so that doesn't matter. By committing or attempting to commit a violation of Section 609 and murder. So all of these things don't matter. So really, the first subsection of manslaughter in the second degree is what the prosecution is going to have to prove that Chauvin consciously took the chance and caused death to George Floyd. All right. Now, with that said, I want to show you guys a couple other. Well, actually, you know what? I'll skip the murder charges because I don't want to focus on murder tonight. I've focused on second and third degree murder many times before. So if you're new to the channel, you could go look at my commentary of what I think about the second and third degree murder. But anyways, so now that we have that in mind, now that we have the fact and the statute in mind, I want to show you some pretty, I would say, I would call this, this is a damning testimony. I mean, just being objective to it. This is a cute little picture right here. And I wasn't expecting to see that. Anyways, senior cop says force used against George Floyd was totally unacceptable. Now, this senior cop, all right, but we're going to listen to his testimony. He gets up there and I mean, he shreds Derek Chauvin. Like if I'm a juror, I am paying attention to what he's saying, and I am possibly persuaded by the way he frames the negligence of Derek Chauvin. So senior cop says force used against George Floyd was totally unnecessary. Now, here's the reason why this guy's testimony carries weight. He's a homicide lieutenant. The most senior member of the Minneapolis Police Department told jurors Friday that kneeling on the neck of someone who is handcuffed and flat on the ground is deadly force and was totally unnecessary. So since we have the video loaded up, all right, I want you guys to hear from himself, because this testimony, like I've said, it's not good for Derek Chauvin. So we'll see we will see what the jurors end up concluding, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be our call.
Are there different kinds of force that officers can use?
Yes.
And have you ever, in all the years you've been working for the Minneapolis Police Department, been trained to kneel on the neck of someone who is handcuffed behind their back in a prone position?
No, I haven't.
If that were done, would that be considered force?
Absolutely.
What level of force might that be?
That would be the top tier, the deadly force.
Why?
Because of the fact that if your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
All right. So as you guys heard, I mean, it's straightforward, and it's a damning testimony, to say the least. It's a damning testimony, to say the least. And when you take that testimony and you match it with what Jerry Blackwell, the opening argument that he pushed forward, I mean, when you match it to that, I mean, gosh, it does not look good. It does not look good for Derek Chauvin. So Uber says he's definitely going to do some time. It's starting to look, to me, it's starting to look like that after, as the trial is going on. The thing that I don't like, and I didn't like, is how everyone was supposed to make a decision. Boom, right there. Oh my goodness, it happened. Didn't make a decision. Mark your ground out now. Are you going to be on the side of justice or not? What is it going to be? All right. And I like that. Okay, I'm able to actually listen to the trial myself, listen to the testimony, listen to the actual evidence myself, and then, you know what, make a decision on what I think is going to happen. And ultimately, no matter what happens, I'm cool with what the jury determines, because it's not in my control. It's in their control. And if they are persuaded beyond a reasonable doubt that Chauvin committed murder, then you know what? All I can offer is a disagreement. Reginald, thank you so much. Hey, brother, U.S. Army veteran, U.S. Army combat vet right here. I've already subbed. I love your channel. You have such high morals. These Democrats / left wing are straight demonic. They will burn someday. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Yes, I'm trying to keep the morals on high alert, because at the end of the day, who cares if you make a fast buck if you're lying? Who cares if you're popular but you're a scumbag? Who cares if you have so much followers, but at the end of the day, you're just spewing lie after lie after lie? So yes, thank you, Reginald. My channel, I want to pursue continuing to, say the truth and say things that I believe are true. So I really appreciate your encouragement through the show, and I appreciate your kind words. So last thing I'm gonna show you guys, and then we're gonna tap out, is we read manslaughter, we read the statute. All right, you have to be consciously doing something that takes someone's life, or you put them in great bodily harm. We know that happened, the knee on the neck. All right, then you tie that to the police policy code, which Jerry Blackwell is going to talk about right now. I'll let this play for about 30 seconds just so I can tie my point all together. And then I will conclude with this right here.
Is what is the standard for applying force against individuals, the use of force policy? You learn it's in 29 seconds.
Let's start from right here.
You're going to learn in this case quite a lot about the Minneapolis Police Department's use of force policy. What you're going to see and learn a lot about is what is the standard for applying force against individuals, the use of force policy. You learn that Minneapolis Police Department employees shall only use the amount of force that is objectively reasonable in light of the facts and circumstances. The force used shall be consistent with current Minneapolis Police Department training. What you learn, ladies and gentlemen, is that the use of force must be evaluated from one moment to the next moment, from moment to moment. What may be reasonable in the first minute may not be reasonable in the second minute, the fourth minute, or the 9th minute and 29 seconds.
All right, so you got that. Okay, reasonableness. All right, so you got that. All right, along with the lieutenant that testified and said that it was totally unnecessary what happened. And then you have this graphic. All right, this graphic, I think, does a good job capturing what the prosecution is arguing. And the reason why I could look at this and say, okay, manslaughter, I could definitely see manslaughter, because, Floyd's final words were at 8:24 p.m. All right. So for 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Derek Chauvin has his knee on George Floyd. And then after 4 minutes and 45 seconds, that's when he goes silent. All right. So he goes silent. So it says it right here, silent with sporadic movement for 53 seconds. And then the last 3 minutes and 51 seconds, George Floyd is silent and non-responsive. So what they're arguing, and what I really think is a compelling argument, is how can you say that this man's use of force at 7 minutes in, somewhere around here, should be the same amount of force that he used here. He's using the same amount of force here that he's using here. And what's the difference? George Floyd is unresponsive. What's the difference here? George Floyd is at least responsive. So with all of that said, I really think that today and on Friday, that the prosecution, honestly, I think they've done a great job at arguing their point of manslaughter. And I'm not at a point now I don't want to make any predictions yet because I want to listen to the entirety, but I will say that I was swayed to believe that he could possibly be charged of manslaughter. And I've heard a lot of commentary on this, and I've read a lot of it myself and all this good stuff. I could see it going both ways, so I'll leave the door open right there. I do want to make a conclusion for the sake of concluding, and then seeing how right or wrong I am. At the end of the day, I don't care, about solely being right or wrong. I care about following the story as the story unfolds, showing you guys the facts. Like right now, this is the fact. This timeline is the fact. All right. So you have this timeline competing with fentanyl and meth. Okay. Which one's going to win? At the end of the day, it has yet to be seen. All right. So I'm gonna wrap up. The live stream right there. If you guys have any comments, you guys could drop them down below. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Anybody that's new here, thank you so much for taking time to spend time with us on a beautiful Monday evening, covering some of the great news stories that our politicians and mainstream media moguls do not want to cover because they want to twist it their way. I mean, imagine a station that just gave you the whole thing, that said, hey, here's a good argument by the defense. Here's a good argument by the prosecution. And not just one, here's all of their arguments. You make up your decision, and then we'll see what the jurors say at the end of the day. So, thank you guys. I'll read some of these comments. Uber says, Chauvin gonna do some years, no doubt, but you all gotta know he dropped. You're a funny dude. Oh my God, he dropped the soap in the shower. The cities are gonna be burning. Yes, the cities are gonna be burning, which is why martial law needs to be enacted before the verdict is read out loud. There needs to be a heavy police presence in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know the update of the autonomous zone, but the autonomous zone needs to be cleared out. Those domestic terrorists need to get out. But nonetheless, Uber, thank you so much for your time watching the show. Thank you so much for your comments and support. Last one I'll read. George Floyd's family got millions. Yeah, they got 27 million, which means Ben Crump got probably half of that. After taxes, they probably walked away with around 8 million or so. The family was paid out very, very well. But I think I'm gonna leave that right there. I appreciate you guys watching this live stream. Make sure you guys have a great evening. Get some rest. I will see you guys on the next one. I'll probably have a live stream on Wednesday. I'll let you know in advance. Probably during Wednesday afternoon. I will get the link and the topics ready. But until then, make sure you guys are good to each other. God bless everyone. Make sure you guys have a great night, a great Tuesday. Make the most out of your opportunities. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I will see you good people on the next one. Peace.